Hi everyone, this is JelArts and I'm back with a digital speed paint, and I did something different this time. Instead of us actually sketching the pose out, I actually just blocked in the basic face shape and the basic hair shape and just some facial features without sketching. So I just started off with the shapes rather than the sketching and the outlines, and I actually enjoyed this method a lot, but the only thing is that at first I didn't add enough contrast between all the different parts of the face and the hair, so it was looking a little bit too pastel almost, and there wasn't enough contrast between the colors, but I ended up adding that after this. Even though I'm adding darker colors now, it's still not dark enough for the darkest shadows, but this is something fairly simple and something that I'm pretty comfortable doing, a female face, kind of like a shoulders up kind of shot. But I'll do this if I want to practice a different technique, but I really want to do something more complicated next time. Maybe with this technique, maybe not. I'm not sure if I necessarily enjoyed it more than sketching, just because I like sketching and I like coloring my sketch. So I'll sketch something out, maybe I'll clean it up, or I might go over it again with a slightly neater sketch, and then I'll paint the colors of everything below it, and then I might color the sketch depending on what colors I want the shadows to be. So let's say I colored the sketch a dark purple, and then the skin was, or maybe not the skin, the hair was brown, then I would be shading some purple into the hair, and it just adds a lot more interest to it, and I'm more used to that technique anyway. But maybe one day this will be a faster way of me achieving a finished result for digital painting. But it's nice to know that I can pull it off, but I know that if I tried to do it with clothing, it probably wouldn't work out too well, because when I added clothing to her, I just put some sleeves on her shoulders, I basically did start with an outline rather than a basic shape. So I think I'm more of a sketching kind of person, not really a line art person, but I do like to have some lines there, not necessarily crisp lines, but at least some sort of starting point. And I like to sketch things out and plan it, and I can't really visualize it very well when it's just basic shapes and just blobs of color, but I know a lot of people do this successfully, so it's definitely something I might become more accustomed to in the future. And it's probably kind of difficult to see what I'm actually changing about the face, because my cursor is so small, but you can catch a glimpse every now and then. It probably helps if you're in full screen mode, just to see what I'm doing. But it took me a while to adjust the facial features and make sure that the eyes don't look too lopsided, and just to balance out the eyebrows and just the nose shape and everything. Try to make everything look even and make the proportions look okay. When I had everything laid out, I actually started live streaming this picture on my Twitch channel. I was using a microphone but not a webcam, so I was just live streaming this process, and I had a microphone going, and there was a few people there chatting with me, so it was pretty fun. If you want to follow me on Twitch to catch future live streams, I'll always announce them on YouTube and maybe Instagram. If you want to follow me on Twitch directly, then I'll put the link in the description, and I might add it on the screen as well so you can see. It's just the same username here, so it should be pretty easy to find, but I'll put the link here anyway. I might try to do a live stream each week, depending on my schedule and if I'm actually working on something digital, because I do want to do a traditional live stream soon, but I don't have very bright lights, and it might be really bad quality, but it would be better than nothing to try that out. So at this point, I'm still modifying the face shapes. I'm trying to make the eyes even up and make them all symmetrical, which I find pretty hard sometimes, especially when I start, when you're drawing something and you're liking the way how it's turning out, and then you start to look at it too closely, and then tiny little things bother you, and you just keep changing them, and you can't stop changing them, because if you change them one way, then they don't look right this way, and then you try to change it that way, and then it makes something else look unbalanced. But then when you're watching back your speed paint, you realize you should have just left it there, that looked fine, but then you just keep changing it. I think when that starts to happen, it's good to just step back from it, work on a different part of the picture, and then come back to it after. I actually did that in the live stream. I was like, I'm going to work on the hair now and come back to the eyes, but it's really tempting to just like keep working on the eyes until they're fixed. But you don't want to overwork something when the rest of the drawing doesn't have that level of detail yet, because then you have to add that level of detail to everything else. And this was the part where I started to add darker shading and darker shadows on the hair and on everything. For this portrait, I wanted everything to be brown, like shades, like different shades of brown, whether it be more orangey brown or more reddish brown. There's a lot of reddish browns in here, and there's also like pink in her skin and stuff like that, and purple, but it's mostly brown, so I kind of called it like coffee portrait just because it's brown. I had no idea what else to call this. So I just basically took colors from her hair into her eyes and took colors from her eyes into her hair and added highlights to her hair with her skin. And I just tried to make all the colors blend together throughout the picture. And yeah, I really like working with monochrome palettes. It's just easier almost, and it's easier to make it all pull together nicer. But I do like working with colors a little bit more because it's just so much more interesting. And I want to do something very like Halloween-y, like related, but I'm going to be doing an Inktober drawing for Halloween, but it's going to be a lot bigger than all my other Inktober pieces. So I'm going to have to start that and get that up for Halloween. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to like do a flip through of my whole Inktober book, all my sketches, not sketches, all my line art drawings and ink washes and stuff that I did throughout the whole month, because I have been keeping up with it. I also use a ballpoint pen sometimes. I don't know if that counts, like there's ink in it, so it should count. But I'm going to do a flip through of that, and then day 31 won't be in that book, or it might, but I'm going to do a bigger drawing for day 31. I'm going to have to do that before the 31st, though, just so I can get it uploaded, but I will still technically be working on it on the 31st, because I'm going to be editing the video and maybe like doing some last minute changes to it that day. So keep a lookout for that. It will be uploaded Halloween, probably the normal times I upload, like around 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's my time zone. So now I'm just, I decided that her skin is too similar to the background, so I'm just adding in some clothing. So I originally just wanted to do some simple like sleeves, but then I decided I wanted to do like puffier sleeves, and I think it kind of balances the composition a little bit better. So I just pulled from colors in her hair and colors in her skin to highlight with it, and then I just changed up her collarbones and her neck and everything, try to even it out. And I realized one of her shoulders were too far out compared to the other one, so I had to change that. I think I ended up changing that in the end though, so not right now. And since I was live streaming, I was just recording the SAI window, like the program's window record, rather than the full screen record, which records everything and anything that's on your screen. But I just was recording the Paint Tool SAI window. So that way, if I opened up Open Broadcaster, it would, like OBS, it would not like show itself in the video. But because of that, any window I opened up within Paint Tool SAI's program, so if I wanted to change the hue and saturation or the contrast or anything like that, you can't actually see that window. But I will tell you what I did do. So I actually increased the saturation. I think I did that a while ago, but I increased the saturation, and then I actually increased the contrast between the colors, and that just made it pop even more than it already did. And I was just trying to make this not too pastel and not too low of a contrast, because I tend to do that a lot in my digital art. I don't add enough contrast and there's not enough darks compared to the lights that there are. So it's kind of hard to tell what I'm doing. I can't even tell what I'm doing. I think I'm editing the hair. It's just such small details that it's kind of difficult to see what I'm doing. But when I did finish all of this, I was actually, for once, happy with the way it turned out. And I don't really know why that is, because I know this is really simple and there's not much to it. Well, it's simple for me because I draw a lot of stuff that looks like this, and I'm trying to not do that so much. But I think I just like the way her eyes turned out, because whenever I do digital art, her eyes somehow don't quite match each other, and just I'm never really happy with the style of the eyes. Oh, I think right then I actually increased the contrast. I did it then, not before. And as soon as I increased the contrast, it just started to look a whole lot like better, and I just liked the way it was turning out more and more as I added more contrast, because it's really important to have a good range of dark colors to light colors in any drawing you do, and that's what makes it look more realistic, and that's what makes it pop more. And even though like this is a kind of subdued piece, it still like catches your attention because of the contrast between the darks and the lights. And I think I could have done that a little bit better on her skin. I did not add dark enough shading on her skin. That's something I do need to work on when it comes to coloring skin. So now I'm just like doing simple changes, just modifying things. So I hope you enjoyed seeing my process for this, and I hope you're looking forward to my Halloween drawing in a week. I'm going to be working on that this week, and there'll be a video for Thursday too. So thanks so much for watching this, and I'll see you next time.